This is Brock for Star Wars Action News, with a review of The Force Unleashed for the Xbox 360. The Force Unleashed on the Xbox 360 is a fun, interesting game, but not a perfect one. While innovative in its use of Force powers, visually stunning, and featuring a really interesting story, I was slightly disappointed and actually surprised how the game oftentimes seems clunky, unpolished, and repetitive. What primarily separates The Force Unleashed on the Xbox 360 from most versions and other platforms are the graphics. The game is beautiful, detailed, and truly visually interesting. Each level creates a nice atmosphere, the depth of field is apparent, and they got the details down, from the textures on the TIE Fighter wings and the Junkyard planet to the beautiful skies of Cloud City. The game just looks great. And the character animation in the gameplay is fluid, and not only the secret apprentice running around, but when you manipulate objects and troopers with the Force. It is fun to watch the variety of ways the stormtroopers' bodies react to the various Force powers. It all feels, for lack of a better word, realistic. Most Xbox 360 owners know the joy of earning achievements, and The Force Unleashed provides a typical selection. The standard ones for finishing a level, kill 100 enemies using this attack, kill 100 enemies using that attack, and so on. The good thing is they're not too impossible to get or based on how quickly you end the game. I was rewarded with 8 achievements on just the first 2 levels, so you should get 2/3 of them just by playing through the game once, and the more challenging ones should come when you play through again on a higher difficulty. In addition to the achievements, on each level there are 15 holocrons to search for, no doubt in an attempt to add more replay value to the game. Controlling the secret apprentice is fairly intuitive, and the game does explain how to use the new Force powers you earn on each level, which I found quite user-friendly. The moves and combinations are well laid out for the 360 controller, making it easy to implement and experiment with different combinations of Force powers. It was a smart move to have the lightsaber controlled by just one button, for it makes it easier to try different Force-accentuated combinations. Another interesting feature the gameplay employs is a finishing move system for the bosses at the end of the levels and large creatures and vehicles. Reminiscent of Resident Evil 4, the screen prompts you with a button sequence to push, and if you follow it, you perform a splendidly animated finishing move. Yet the only problem is you have to do it each time you want to defeat a Rancor or an ATST, and that gets sort of old quick. And that brings me to the major flaw of the game. While it is certainly a lot of fun to use the Force in so many different ways, the gameplay just gets repetitive. The game does reward you if you get creative with your Force usage, and each level you unlock new powers and moves, so that does add a little variety, but at the end of the day, the game is a kill, kill, kill button masher. And I love tossing stormtroopers into a chasm as much as the next guy, but a little variety in the level objectives would have been nice. And while the graphics are mostly top-notch, they are not without their issues. There are moments of screen tearing throughout the game, and at times the action moves in slow motion when there are many characters and moving objects on the screen. These sorts of issues make me nostalgic for my old 8-bit NES, and while the cutscenes are cinematic and a great watch plot-wise, I was surprised with how inconsistently the characters moved. Sometimes they were block-like, other times they moved naturally fluid, and the terrific voice acting was almost constantly upstaged by the terrible lip animation. The words and mouth movements rarely if ever synced up. Given that this is the Xbox 360 version, I expected a little more in this department. The game features an autosave at checkpoints, which I found was a nice relief on these long levels, yet I ran into some issues with the autosave registering at checkpoints early on the Junkyard planet after I killed the junk monster. I finally just started to manually save the game when the autosave icon appeared, and that solved that problem. I don't know if the autosave problem is throughout the game or just on the Junkyard planet, because every time I saw the autosave icon appear from that point on, I manually saved. Overall, I enjoyed playing The Force Unleashed on the Xbox 360, and while repetitive at times in the hack-and-slash area, the graphics, plot, and variety in the Force moves will keep me happy while I play through it again for the achievements. I think the positives far outweigh the negatives with this version of the game, and if I had to choose which platform to pick this game up on, I suggest the Xbox 360 version as the way to go. For Star Wars Action News, this is Brock. For more information on The Force Unleashed and all things Star Wars, visit www.swactionnews.com.